I can tell you this, Sills. I thought their offense would be okay because they have so much speed at the wide receiver position that they haven't had. They haven't had since Tyreek Hill left.
Former Pitt Panther All-American and our friend, and one of my guys that I looked up to when I was a kid growing up is my friend Bill Maas. How you doing, brother?
Sills, how we doing, pal?
How you feeling, man? Yeah. I mean, it's coming full circle for you now, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels pretty good, actually. It makes all those aches and pains and go away, man. When I wake up in the morning, it's not quite as bad when you got that feeling about being in the Ring of Honor.
Bill, when you first heard that, I mean, we're not talking about the Carolina Panthers. No diss on them. But when you're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, you're going in with some of the greatest players that have ever played. Buck Buchanan, all them guys that have played there. I mean, go down the list. Brown and Len Dawson and all these guys, Derek Thomas. What's that mean to you, man, going into a place into a Ring of Honor like that with the Chiefs?
You know, when I played in that stadium from the time I was a rookie, that I look up at those names all the time. And all except for Mac Lee Hill, I actually met every single one of those guys. You know, they didn't get here till 1965. And from Dallas, you're correct. It was the Dallas Texans, and they moved up here. So it wasn't really that long when I get there in 84. So I got an opportunity to meet those guys, become friends with those guys, work with those guys like Lenny Dawson. Yeah, so you know that makes it really special. I know all those guys that are up there, and the big part of the history of that organization. And it's a storied franchise. You know, the founder of the AFL that made this whole thing go. Knowing him, and when he was in his 50s, when I got there, and that story and the cocktail napkin thing. Those cocktail napkins are in the stadium. They're framed.
That's crazy great.
Yeah, it's. And trust me, it was economy plus in the back row. In the back row. I mean, that's just who Lamar was. But you know what a story of where this team is at now, where they were, where they went, what they've been through, and then along those years, all the players that passed through. So yeah, it's really quite an honor.
How much does that Super Bowl loss 9 months ago still sting with the organization heading into the 2025? Again, bump started a little bit there against the Chargers. I thought Herbert played his ass off in that game. I'll get to that in a minute, but how much does that loss still hurt the Kansas City Chiefs to the Eagles?
They really wanted that three-peat. You know, it was there. And it was just they ran into a buzzsaw. And, you know, you can be as good as you want to be and play in this league, but if you compete in sports, sometimes that happens. You know, sometimes you get your butt kicked, and there's no beating around the bush. That's what happened. They got them this week. Maybe they were looking ahead last week. I'm not sure what happened down in Brazil, but it's kind of like if that check engine light goes on, you better pay attention to it. Right? Not really sure. There were some things out there that, wow. I know Spags always has a history of starting out slow, and he builds a great defense over the course of a year. He's got some new guys back there working with him. He's trying to find what they can do, what they're good at. It's going to be interesting to watch, though.
How about this, Bill? What were you more concerned about, the offensive output against the Chargers or the defensive play in Brazil? Were you more concerned? Which side of the ball?
No, look, everybody talked about the offensive line all through training camp, but to me, what I saw through the course of last year and then through the offseason was the lack of a pass rush and the new guys and where they're going to fit in the secondary. You know, you lose a Jay Reed, you know, you lose a Jarius Sneed, you lose. I mean, those are key guys. And then who'd you replace them with? Who do you have? And I think a little bit of that showed up down in Brazil.
Yeah, it sure did. I mean, tell me the offseason that you think you had. And Bill, correct me if I'm wrong. I looked at Kansas City and I'm like, where did they get better? Where did they get better on offense? I mean, I get Rashid Rice is suspended. I understand that. But then I'm like, okay, Worthy gets hurt. I saw I saw when Kelsey ran into him, so I don't know how long he's going to be out. Kelsey looked old in that ball game. I mean, Bill, you go so long. And as you know, listen, when you play that deep and you put that many years of 5 years, they're going deep into the playoffs. They just looked tired, not only in that Super Bowl, but I thought they looked a little tired in that game against the Chargers. Am I off base with that? It's just, they never looked like they were in sequence, or they never looked like they had rhythm or momentum going in any way.
Yeah, I think Xavier Worthy getting hurt on the first or second play of the game kind of threw a loop in him. I can tell you this, Sills. I thought their offense would be okay because they have so much speed at the wide receiver position that they haven't had. They haven't had since Tyreek Hill left, and they haven't had them healthy all combined. The three guys together. So if you get Xavier Worthy out there, you get Hollywood Brown, and who just got suspended there.
Rashid Rice.
Yeah. If you all three of those guys together, you're talking 4-1, 4-2s down the field. That just blows the top off the defense. There is no answer for that, and we haven't had the ability to get those three guys out on the field together. Last year, not yet this year. I think that's the hope. But if that does happen, I think you're going to see some of the fireworks that you saw in Patrick's first and second year. As far as Kelsey goes, that'll certainly help on the underneath stuff if those three guys are taking everybody downfield.
Yeah.
So I think that I'm hoping anyhow that it just the Worthy went down early. They weren't sure what to do. There was a little bit of scrambling around. But I can tell you this: the one guy that didn't look old is Patrick Mahomes.
No way. He looked great.
Dude, I mean, horizontal 40-yard throws on the money. I mean, that's just freak ability, but it's more important. It's a guy that just has a burning desire. He's not going to quit. So I think a few positions could use a little bit more of that in them.
Bill, do you think there's more of an emphasis this year on getting the ball deep? It just seemed in that game against the Chargers that, a lot more checkdowns a couple years previous. I mean, last year and the year before, I thought maybe a little more underneath stuff, but it looks more like you guys are trying to get the plus 25 explosion plays. Does that look like it's more of an emphasis this year?
It definitely was. I think it's something they talked about all offseason. And, look, when you've got to manage the salary cap and a lot of high-priced players, right? I mean, you got Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, you got Chris Jones, you got George Karlaftis, you've got there's a plethora of guys, and when you're trying to manage that, you can't address everything. Running back, for instance, right? I mean, what do you got? You got what you got. So tight end, well, maybe a little long in the tooth, but still, we can make plays there. Noah Gray can make plays. Jared Wiley can make plays. So how do you make that happen? Well, if you start stretching the field, all of a sudden those things open up. You don't need a Derrick Henry back there because that thing will just open up for those guys, and they'll look like Derrick Henry, but they're doing it by schematics and not line up and just pound you.
Chris Jones, how do you think he played in that football game?
Chris, man, that dude's have you watched him, Dan?
Man, he is.
I mean, you and I played the position, right?
Man,
have you seen anybody that tall and be that explosive and the things
inside? No.
Yeah, no. And there's we played the position, and I can tell you that we've seen a lot of great ones, and I can't say I can put his type of play up against any of them.
He plays under his pads for such a tall dude.
Yeah,
which it's so hot. Bill, the first thing you do is you play high. You're always looking and you're looking up because you play high. He plays with such great leverage. He's got reach on him too, and his feet. I've always thought you have to have great feet inside because of the amount of traffic that's inside.
Yeah.
He's got a combination of all that.
And his ability to gain ground through his second move, right?
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. Like, for me, it was like if I had to take a second move, I wasn't really gaining a lot of ground on that second move, right? Yeah. I mean, he gains ground on his second move, and even through double teams, he's great with his hands, the way he rolls himself through. Yeah, I mean, he didn't have the greatest game. Obviously, that last play cost him a lot. I mean, he gambled. You know how that goes. It's okay if you do it. You just got to get there.
Yeah.
I think this team, especially defensively, like I said, it takes Spags a little bit to get going and see who he has and what he can do with them, and he'll put it together.
What do you make of this Eagle team? I mean, you know, what you saw of them and that offensive line, I'll tell you something. Bill, great old lines back in the day. I mean, the Hogs in Washington, you had the Giant line was great. Chicago had a good line. Go down the list. I mean, there's so many great lines, but you were able to keep people together because of this, there was no salary cap. Now you've got a salary cap. And these two bookend tackles they have, Mulata and Lane, I'm telling you, I mean, then when you have a healthy Lane and Dickerson, it's like Upshaw and Shell over there. I mean, these guys are just so good. What do you make of those guys?
Yeah, you can't two gap them. That's for damn sure.
No.
I mean, you can't take them on a two gap. You can't do it. Just give up. Just you throw up the white flag, right? But you've got to find ways to attack them. They are really tall. You can get underneath them.
Yeah, you can.
Leverage can beat them. I mean, there's things you can do, but you're in. I mean, the tush push and the power and all the stuff that they bring at you. It's just man. I'm glad I'm not having to go against that kind of deal anymore. That's a lot of work and a lot of hurt. And it's just not going to be that game. That's a hurt that'll carry over for a while.
Oh,
and then they got, you deal with that. You deal with that. 350-pound behemoths. If you get through that, any way, shape, or form, then you got to find Barkley, right? And then they just got the kid out of Jacksonville too.
Yeah, Tank.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot. And then you got Hurts. You try to catch him and chase him down, and you got two guys on the outside, AJ Brown, and I mean, it's just and Goddard too. I mean, they're stacked.
What do you make of Jalen? When you see him, Bill, I mean, there's such a different swing in how people look at him. Like Mahomes is the gold standard. That's the gold standard. Every list, I find these lists funny. I go, if you don't have Patrick Mahomes number one on that list, you don't really know what the quarterback position looks like. I get the guy in Buffalo. You should just take the 17 off and put a Superman, red, white, and blue. You should just put the Superman on him because he's that guy. But what do you think of Jalen Hurts as a quarterback?
Every time I see him play, I gain more respect for him. When I first saw him, I didn't know whether he had his ups and downs his first year. Then his second year, he did real well. They got the Super Bowl, and I didn't know whether he was a good quarterback or a product of the system, and I wasn't sure. But as I've seen him grow now, he's just a baller, right? You give him a chore to do, he's going to do it. And his demeanor and his work ethic and his approach to the game and life. I mean, I got my hats off to him.
A couple more questions here for you, Bill. Andy Reid. How many more years do you think this thing's going? I mean, man, he's had such a legendary career. Do you think he wants that Shula record? Do you think that's something that he cares about, being the all-time? From what I understand, if he has another 4 years of 12 wins, I think he passes Don Shula for the all-time winningest coach of all time. He's already approaching if they go back, and I think with Mahomes, you're always going to be in the Super Bowl picture. Are those things something to him? Do they matter to him? Or is it just about going to work and still loving the game?
I don't think the all-time winning thing has – I don't think that's anything that's a driving factor. I think that as long as he has Mahomes, I think he thinks he has a chance for another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You get a fourth one, and he's been to a ton of them, right? But if you get a fourth one, that's really something. And so I think that, and along with the fact that 15's there. I also think too, I don't think he would know what else to do. I really don't. He's been around it, and it's been his life and his family's life for so long that I think he doesn't have any hobbies. He doesn't do anything else.
It's his hobby, right?
Yeah, and so I think as long as he thinks he can contribute and help, and he has 15 there, I think Andy's going to be around.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, couple NFL questions for you here. Well, I got to ask you about Josh Allen. I mean, when Marino broke into the league, nobody had seen a guy throw the ball 48 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, the amount of volume. I mean, of course, there was Fouts and all them guys, but Marino changed the game when it came to throwing the ball vertically, I think. I mean, Today's NFL is just, I mean, he was the precursor to it. When I watch this Josh Allen, if you don't have a mobile quarterback today, Bill, that can get because of the salary cap, you're losing guys in the O-line because of money a lot of times. If you don't have a guy who can move like a Hurts, like an Allen, like a Mahomes, because you're going to lose people in that offensive line, like I just said, I don't know if you're going to win ball games with guys like Joe Burrow. I mean, if you lose any kind of guys on defense or offense, those guys are not helping you move the chains if you lose personnel on your side of the football. So you think we're seeing a shift where you have to be more mobile? You have to have some ability. Even Justin Herbert has ability. Do you think we're seeing that more now?
Yeah. I mean, I think the pocket passer is just about done. And if you look at the teams that are making the transitions, like, for instance, Kirk Cousins was having a hell of a year last year, right? But, you get to the point and you're later in the season and saying, well,
Too many sacks, right?
Let's go. Let's extend these plays. I mean, you need a multi-dimension quarterback in today's game. And if not only for the fact of, what you talked about, and it goes back to college, you don't have time to work on just your individual period. You just go straight to team. And now you have to collect the bargaining agreement. You have 2-hour practices. You don't have a lot of time to work on individual drills to make yourself better at what you're doing, right? So, you rely on more of the window dressing, the shifts, the motions, the rollouts, the waggle passes, the misdirections. Everything is like this. It's spaghetti on a plate, and so that's the name of the game now. It's like trickery and deception. So you need a quarterback, in my opinion, that can do multiple things and not just sit there and decipher defense and throw the ball, get it downfield. You got to be able to move the pocket, buy yourself time, buy your receivers time to get open in zone defenses.
I asked Michael Irvin this question a couple days ago, and I want to ask you this question. Did you enjoy playing football more on Saturdays or on Sundays?
That's a good question. I think
you love playing at Pitt, dude.
Yeah. I think it's a totally different deal when you the color and the pageantry and the tradition of college football, which doesn't exist anymore except for the band because of the portal.
Right.
But that at that time was just, there was so much spirit behind it.
Yeah.
It was just a different, pure feeling. It wasn't about contracts, bonuses, or there was no minutia involved in it, right? It was just you just went out and did your thing, but Sundays too. I love an early game. I love Sundays playing an early game. The afternoon games were okay, but the early games to me, I just liked it because we played early in college. So you play an early game, you go home, you have a nice dinner with your family, maybe get ready for Monday Night Football. They didn't even have Sunday Night Football back then, right? So, the night games and the international games, those are freaking horrible. I mean, horrible. I don't know. I don't want to start getting taped and ready to go out at 7:00 at night and play and get home at midnight. I don't want to do that. Who wants to do that?
No way. I tell you, and people are going like, Pitt? I'm like, you got to remember something. I think, if I'm not mistaken, because I used to go to Pitt games, and I used to watch him and Pizzoli play. And I think almost every year these two were at Pitt, maybe because Bill was a little younger. I think, if I'm not mistaken, every year you guys were 11-1, except for that one year when you went to the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We had a pretty good run back.
I think you guys were Miami. I've always told Dave Wannstedt this. You guys were Miami before Miami with all those great players that you had on your team.
Yeah, it's amazing. So Goose Goslin, Rick Goslin down in Dallas, he just did an article for Sports Illustrated about the Pitt Panthers teams of that era.
They were amazing.
He just wrote about it, and he called me, and I'm reading it, and he went on to say that, he talked about me and all the other players that came through there.
Hugh Green, Ricky Jackson,
all Hall of Famers, right?
Goldman.
Yeah, and he said Bill Maas went on to play 10 years in the NFL and couldn't come close to playing with the collection of talent he played with.
And you were the rookie of the year in the NFL defensively, and you had like Freilich on that team. Elliott, what's his name? The guy in Chicago.
Colbert.
Jimbo was up there with you guys. I mean, you had Dan Marino, of course. I mean, so many great players were on that team. I mean, can you imagine? I got asked this question about my teams, and Brent Musburger said you'd have $150 million nil. Hey, Bill, if you were in today's college football with that team you had, that's another $200 million nil team too, bro. You guys, you'd guys be up there in Oakland having a bigger time than what you guys did back in the day.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And no doubt about it. It was funny because I had to go against those guys. I had to go against Mark May, Russ Grimm, Jimbo Colbert, Bill Freilich, Jim Sweeney, every day in practice. Every day in practice. When I got to the NFL, it was like, what?
You were ready.
Yeah.
Right. And then, of course, folks, he played with Neil Smith and Derek Thomas. Yeah. Not a bad deal going from that to that. Hey, Bill, it's always great catching up with you, bro. You know what I think? You know that. Hey, congratulations on the Ring of Honor, man. I'm going to be watching that game when you get – I'm sure the family's all going to be there with you as you get inducted into the Kansas City Chiefs Ring of Honor. Congratulations, my friend.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, Sileo. Talk to you. Good luck, bro.
You got it, man. That's Bill Maas.